Yeah, it's that time. So we've got muck off sealant and we're going to do the front wheel first. Being a bit of a cheapskate though, I don't have a compressor or anything, so we're going to try a method that you've probably already seen online and we'll see if it works. Basically, bodging one of these, just taking the tyre off because the actual wheel itself is going to be replaced because the hub's knackered, the bearing's gone, and we've got new wheels, so we might as well get those stuck on. New wheels we've got from Nukeproof. Not the super duper ones unfortunately, but they were a warranty thing, so we're not going to complain. Anything's better than nothing. But yeah, so my hardtail, my Vitus, whatever you want to call it, it's basically coming up to a year, well it's just over a year old now. And yeah, I had quite a bit of problem with the wheels and the bearings. So chain reaction were nice enough to send these. So hopefully these will be a lot better. But yeah, they all come with the rim tape and everything installed and tubeless valves, nice little aluminium Nukeproof ones, which is good. See those, pretty smart. Okay, so the bodge relies on using one of these. So this is a 5 litre sprayer with a little release valve on there, a little bit of hose, and yeah, some various bits and bobs. Obviously you can use this afterwards to clean your bike or something, which would probably be quite cool. But yeah, what we're going to do is unscrew the actual pipe with a little handle on, and then apparently in here we should find, there we go, clear hose. So this hose should fit onto a valve, hopefully. So we pull the little filter off and then disconnect that hose out of there. I mean, this would normally obviously suck up water, but we're not having any water in there, so it doesn't matter. Then screw that back on. Just make sure this does fit on. Should be a nice snug fit apparently. Yeah, it's going to be snug. So just take the valve core out. Yeah, that's not going to fit. Okay, yeah, so the clear tube from the inside we just need to force onto the valve. I'll be honest, this doesn't really work as well as it shows it in the videos, so I think that's on there enough now. So yeah, I've had to ram a screwdriver down that just to sort of try and make it a bit bigger, but yeah, we'll see if that works. So we'll get the tyre off the old wheel now. So yeah, there we go. Get the inner tube out. So one tube, obviously keep your old tube because you probably will use it as a spare one day. Now obviously the wheels coming off were tubeless ready, as you can see. They've got the tape on there, so we could have upgraded these if it weren't for our hub issues. So yeah, we're also upgrading, well, we're putting some new discs and pads and things on as well because it is over a year, so they are a bit knackered, so we're not going to bother taking any of those off, so we'll leave them. Tyre, probably should just make sure your tyre is nice and clean. So yeah, there's nothing in there. Check it for damage. So yeah, I mean the tyre seems pretty good, so we're just going to go with that. Still quite a bit of tread left on this one. So it is a tubeless tyre, so we can just stick this straight on. Just obviously need to get it on the right way. Okay, so let's get this tyre on now. So we're just going to ease it on all the way around. So depending on the actual tyre, you should either be able to get it on by hand or you may need to use a tyre lever. I mean, this just comes straight back off. So we've got that on there. We're going to try and get the bead as close as we can to the edge just to give it the best chance as possible. So just try and seat it round, try and pull it up out the middle. but yeah, I think that's probably about as good as we're going to get that. Now for the magic bit. So with the container, we've obviously taken the little tube out the centre, we've ran that onto the valve. Now at this end, we're going to get the little spray hose, take the little O-ring off that, and then the little clamp, and then hopefully they should now provide a good seal on here. Okay, so moment of truth. So just looking around it, we're pretty just at this top bit here. We still need a bit more in, I think. So we're going to get some good pressure in this, just to make sure it definitely is seated on there, and then we'll just go around and check. Yeah, track pump is definitely a good idea. Looks like that's all gone on there nice. I think the tyre's the right direction. So yeah, what we'll do now is get some sealant in it. So yeah, they're 29-inch wheels and it's a 2.3 tyre. So it's basically the whole pack. Can buy the bottles then, and nice thing with the bottle is obviously worry about measuring it out. Just fill one of the packs back up and you've measured it out. So to finish the setup, we're going to get the old muck off in. So first off, we need to remove the valve core again and get the air out of the tyre. All right. So from the looks of things, the little cheap eBay hack works. I mean, those sprayers are literally a couple of quid. Right, so if we let the air out, it does look like the tyre has actually unseated itself, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. So we're probably going to have to do that again. So we'll inflate it with the Mickey Mouse pump, just to be on the safe side. So get this in there now, give that a little squeeze. So the valve at the top, so we can remove this, because as soon as we remove this, the air is just going to want to come flying straight back out. So we need to get the core in pretty sharpish. We don't want sealant going everywhere. There we go. Get that valve core back in. Just nip that up, and we get some air in it. So I'm going to stick them up to about 30 psi to start with, just to see if they hold air overnight before we start riding them again. So along with going tubeless today and fitting on new wheels, we're also going to do the brake pads and discs as well. So pads, we're going front and rear SHIMANO resin pads that came fitted to the bike, which did the job for me. Don't go fast enough to have any issues with them. Discs, or rotors, whatever you want to say, we're going again with the same that were on the bikes, the SLX ones. They seem to be just be sort of good value really. You're pretty light if you're really bothered about that. But yeah, we're not going down some sort of kamikaze run or anything. They're going to stop us. They did before. Being as we're changing wheels as well, cassette tool. Did buy the Park Tool one, so I didn't really cheap out on this because I didn't want to knacker the cassette lock ring. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, we'll get the front wheel back in. It does seem to be holding pressure. It's been a little bit now. So as it's a new front wheel, I'm just going to take the end caps off. If we can get them off. There we go. And we're just going to fill this with some waterproof grease. So unlike the old wheels that we took off, these do actually have a little rubber seal on them. So hopefully it'll stop all the water getting in there, because that was the problem we had with the ones fitted as standard to the bike, is liquid ingress, and yeah, killed the bearings after like minutes. But yeah, we'll get some grease in there and on that, and then we'll grease the spindle and whack it in the bike. Obviously there is only one grease you can use, knock off bio grease. We're not going to go overboard here, but we're just going to get a good little bead of grease on there. And just whack a little bit finger just to sort of go around that seal. Just going to ease that back in. We want to damage the actual seal now, getting that in. There we go. Okay, so that's one side. We'll do the next side. There does seem to be a bit of grease in them already, but a little more won't hurt. Next we get the disc on. Right, so right or wrong, we are going to use the same rotor bolts. And I do have some Loctite somewhere, so I will get a bit more Loctite on them. So with your discs, you will get a little bag with some these little shim things, whatever they are. Obviously do use new ones, apparently it's important. You also get some new little bolts in there with thread lock on as well if you want to use them. I'm not, because I want to keep the blue. Okay, so we've got the disc on there, got our little snazzy little bolts in there. Okay, so before we get the wheel on, we do need to get these brake pads out, because we're going to change those. So to get them out, we've got a little pin that comes out just there. You may have that, you may not, it may have got lost. And then we're going to undo this little Allen key here. That will pull that release out. This little spring plate will then come out along with the pads. The piston's mainly pushing back in, so we can use a tie lever to do that if that's the case. We've also got some muck off brake cleaner as well, so we're just going to go around and give all this a nice clean up. So onto the brake pads now. So say we're going to remove this little tiny clip, because you used a little Allen key just to insert in there, just to help you pull it out. And then try not to lose that. See, I'm going to lose that myself in a minute. You'll get obviously your pads, and you'll get a new spring pin in there as well. You'll also get a little split pin or whatever it's called, that thing there. So obviously it goes without saying, try not to touch your new pads or your discs. I mean, obviously we've got the disc on now on our new wheel. So we're just going to make sure our brake levers aren't pressed in any way. And then we'll get this pin out. Okay, we'll give that a clean up as well with some disc brake cleaner. So we'll take the little pad spring out, and then the pads themselves. So I mean, to be fair, they're actually not really worn at all. Probably just more contaminated than anything else. So probably could have just cleaned those up, but so obviously I'd use a plastic tie lever, don't use a metal one. You don't want to destroy anything. So just push those back in on both sides, which they already are. Then we'll get some of the muck off brake cleaner and a bit of kitchen roll. Nice and clean now. So with our pads, there is no left or right, I don't think. So we'll pop those in. Better off putting them in as a little sandwich, so stick the pin in. Okay, so we're just re-greasing the axle up now. Plenty of grease on there. Well, it can't hurt. So we've just popped the axle to rest there, and then I'll get the wheel. Obviously, we put new pads and stuff in, maybe a little tricky to fit first. We'll soon find out. We'll also find out if we've got the tyre on the right way. Yeah, so it is a bit of a tight fit there. Tubeless setup. Discs and pads changed with basic tools, a garden sprayer, all done by an idiot. Just shows you can do anything now, doesn't it? Okay, so rear wheel time. So I'm going to just drop it down into the smallest sprocket. I'm going to pop this wheel out. Okay, so GoPro battery's gone flat, but the curse of these wheels strikes again. The actual spindle is somehow stuck in the back wheel. So God only knows how we're going to get this out. Let's just try soaking it. and we've got that side off, but yeah, literally will not come out. Don't really want to whack it with a lump hammer at the moment, but we have to get some mold grips on here and try and free this up. Okay, so after using about 2 of these, we managed to get the rear wheel out. It just literally froze up inside the actual hub, so we've had to hammer the living daylights out of it to get it out with an Allen key in the end of it. So if there's one bit of advice I can give to people, take this out every month or so and grease it, because literally, yeah, that was bad. Glad I'm replacing the wheel. Okay, so best reason to keep an old chain, got to get the cassette off. Obviously you can buy a proper cassette removal tool. We bought the Park Tools little cassette lock ring remover there. Oh, I've got that filter off. Obviously you can use a chain whip, but I haven't got one, so I'm going to use a bit of old chain. Should now, with the adjustable spanner, be able to get that off. If it's anything like everything else on this bike though, it's probably C's. So just be careful when taking the cassette off, because there's probably going to be spacers and all sorts of things on here, and we don't want to lose any of those. Finished with the chain now, so we get this off, pop it on the new wheel. Again, we're going a bit grease hose, so we're going to get some grease in here around the bearing, a bit of grease on the actual spline itself, and then the same the other side. We'll get that cap off and pop a bit of grease in there. Obviously we're going to get loads of grease on the spindle and down in there as well, because we won't season up like it did on the last one. Okay, so we're just getting the tyre on here, so we've already got the one side on. I'm just going to get the other side on. Just noticed a massive problem with the first one though. Logos, they're not too bad, but I didn't bother to line them up, so that's going to annoy the hell out of me. So yeah, oh damn. Squeeze it all on there, lined up enough, it'll do. So yeah, I'm going to get the core out. Also we've got the little tool on the valve cap there. Off. Out of the way, try not to lose it. Okay, so we've screwed the little pipe on the valve, like so. Connected that up to the trigger, just push that in there, made sure the little rubber seal was in place. Then gonna have to give this a good pump up again to seat the tyre. So there we go, you can go tubeless with a little garden pump with a few mods. Hopefully it'll be clear in the video, if not you'll find out how to do it online. But yeah, so now we've upgraded. We've got the Nuke-proof Neutron wheels on there. They went on pretty easy. Didn't really feel much of the last one going tubeless, because it was obviously a bit of a pain with the axle. Plus the tyre was a bit of a pig. Although that was quite easy, just put fairy liquid around the bead and then hoofed it on with that again, and it went on fine. Front one went on a piece of cake. So yeah, all in, successful day. Hubs do look nice. Sounds pretty good. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. Obviously links in description for any of the tat I've used here. Things like wheels and stuff, I'll pop that in the description as well, but they were free from chain reaction under warranty. Obviously everything else, like your muck off and stuff, you get that online, you get it from muck off. Well, to be honest, you get it from Amazon cheaper now. But yeah, any questions about the setup, or any suggestions on what I did wrong, or any suggestions on tyre pressures now I've run tubeless, because I've currently got 30 psi in both, just to make sure they don't lose air overnight. But after that, if anyone would like, let me know what they run, that'd be cool. So yeah, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, see you soon.